What's up, Sakpase y qué tal, mis amigos? It's your boy J-Mo, back again with another video, and today's video is going to be a bit more of a rant than anything else. And it's not because I'm such a Canon fanboy that I felt the need to do this. It's because as somebody who scours the internets before deciding on new gear and new products to use within my workflow and just to see what's cool and what's out there, I find it quite annoying that most recently there's been a huge war, and I'm not annoyed by the war. I actually think it's very healthy to have gear war and like you know, PlayStation versus Xbox, Android versus iPhone, and Canon versus Sony. You know what I'm saying? So I don't hate that there is the competitive nature between the companies, because that's what forces them to give us better products, because they know that if they don't give us something good, we'll go to the other manufacturer. And also, if they don't keep it competitively priced, we'll go to the other manufacturer. And if they just, you know, treat us like pickle, then we'll go to other manufacturer. The point is, I don't think it's bad that there are so many different options to choose from. I think it's hard, but I don't think it's bad. Here's where the rant starts. As I'm doing my research and going through, I will be honest. I am more Team Canon than anything else. I have Canon lenses. I'm using a Canon camera right now, but that's just, you know, for this. And I have a Canon EOS R as my A cam when I'm shooting photos. But the point is, I do like Canon, but I'm not blind. And I can see that Canon a lot of times likes to shoot themselves in the foot, if you will, to make more money down the line with their higher priced cameras. So I'm not one of those people that feel like Canon can't do any wrong. They definitely got to step it up. There's a lot of things that they could do to improve their cameras. And I feel like it's not even that there's a lot that they can do, or you know, it's not like, oh man, their cameras are limited. It's more like it seems like they do it on purpose. And that's where Canon drops the ball a lot. They're purposefully holding back just so that way they won't lose all the money in other areas, okay? And I feel like that's a big slap in the face to its consumers. It is. But I also feel that most people that are doing the comparison videos on YouTube and on their websites and everything like that, their views are so biased, it seems like. I was watching a Canon versus Sony video, like 3 or 4 of them, and not just Canon versus Sony, specifically the C70 versus the A7S III. And it seems like most people, what they're doing is they're not just comparing them like fairly. What they're doing is they're taking one camera and they're saying, even though it has all these drawbacks, that's not such a bad drawback. And then they're taking the other camera and they're saying, even though they got these benefits, I mean, those benefits aren't all that. And then so basically they're taking one camera and just saying like, okay, look at this problem and look at this problem and look at this problem. And then, yeah, it has this benefit, but who cares? It has this benefit, but who cares? Then they go to the other camera and they do the exact opposite, where they're like, well, it has this problem, but who cares? It has this problem, but who cares? But look at this benefit and look at this benefit. And it's like, okay, if you're gonna put a comparison video out there on YouTube or on any platform, at least just, you know, be like, this has, because both camera systems have pros and cons. There is no one perfect camera that has every single thing. And there's no one perfect camera that just has no flaws. Each camera has its pros and cons. And if you're going to compare them for your audience to be able to make an educated decision on their next purchase, at least give them the pros and cons and let them decide for themselves. Like I seen, what's one popular one? They're like, oh, the C70, it has ND filters, but you can just buy ND filters and put them, you know, on there. So, or get a matte box and add it onto the Sony, or you know, all that sort of thing. Now, from someone who has used both the variable NDs that you screw onto the lens and has used the matte box that you put in front of like more like cinema cameras, like how they do it in a professional setting, and have used variable NDs that's like built into the camera, that is not a small thing. If you've ever experienced built-in NDs, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. That there's no comparison. First of all, when you screw on a filter at the front of your lens, one, it doesn't necessarily go down to zero, which means if you're shooting something and you no longer need your ND, then you need to unscrew it, and that's something extra that you have to take care of, that you have to not lose. Secondly, a lot of ND filters, unless you're spending hundreds to thousands of dollars and you're just getting a basic ND filter, when you're spinning it, there's like X's in it at certain points. There's just a lot going on and if you're doing the drop-in filter, I'm sorry, I'm rambling because it's just so crazy to think that people are pretending that built-in NDs are not dope. Like, that is an amazing feature to have built in the camera, so you don't have to worry about, did I leave my NDs at home? It's just in the moment built-in feature. If I'm out here and it gets too bright and I don't want to change, the shutter, I can just bump up with it. Trust me, that is not something to sleep on. Secondly, I heard someone say, oh man, yeah, the C70 has built-in XLR, but they're mini XLR. When's the last time you used mini XLR? So that's whack. But on the Sony, which if you're comparing the camera to the camera, the Sony has no XLRs built in. But they're saying, well, you could just go buy the Sony XLR K3M and just attach it, and it has a full XLR size, not mini, so it has the same functionality. So that's, what I'm saying, that's not that big of a feature. That, Google it yourself, because first I was like, yo, that's a pretty cool piece. But when I looked it up to see how much it cost, that's $600. So you're trying to downplay something that a camera has built in that costs you $600 to match the functionality of. $600. That's not like a small add-on. You know what I'm saying? And if $600 is not that big of a deal, then when we go into talks of being full frame versus the Sony comes full frame, which is a dope feature to already have. It comes full frame. The C70 is a Super 35. And I recognize as a Canon fan that having a full frame camera does have its benefits. I only say, if you guys think that $600 is nothing, well, for about $600, you can get the speed booster that they just released that will create the full frame effect on the C70. And since it's a speed booster, it also brightens up the image, which means you can do much more in lower light as well, which also we know Sony is pretty much like on God mode right now when it comes to low light footage capturing. But this kind of evens the playing field. But I don't necessarily think comparing the C70 versus the Sony A7S III that I should just be like, well, it can go low light if you do the speed booster. I recognize that, oh man, if low light is like my main functionality, then I know the Sony is the winner right there, because it shoots better in low light, point blank period. Like, I could be a Canon fanboy and recognize that, but it doesn't seem like people online are recognizing pros and cons on both sides. Like when I saw someone say, yeah, just buy the Sony K3M, that XLR is blah, 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 it's add-on. Not to mention that it's an add-on piece that goes on top of the camera. And what that means is when you're traveling, you'll have to take it off, put it back on, because you are at risk if you have it on there and you put it in something or you lay it somewhere, it can break. And I do have a brother from another mother who has a Sony camera. He's team Sony. Well, he's not. He's loyal to whatever's the best camera, but he does use Sony cameras right now. He's on the Sony camera system, and he had to send in his camera to get a piece fixed. The mic jack broke because, whatever. But anytime there's something that you have to connect to the camera, there's a chance that it can break. It can break off. So you're gonna have to either take it off every time, put it back on, or you can get the C70 that has it built in, which means it's part of the camera. You just pack the camera, take it out, use it. It's a great all-in-one camera. Now, again, it is nowhere near perfect, but I just think that anytime you're watching a video that doesn't explain both pros and cons to both sides fairly, then it's not really going to give you an idea of which camera to get. Now, I'm not trying to convince you to get either one or the other. I just know what camera I want. You know what I'm saying? And you guys should research on your own which camera you feel is best suited for your workflow. Because if you're watching these videos that are just saying, here's the comparisons, and they're like dogging on one of them, they're gonna have you feeling like, yo, this camera is trash. You know, it's all getting political, and it's just crazy to me. And I just thought I would share this rant and get it out that depending on your workflow and depending on what you're doing, one camera will be better. Let's just start it over but I can't talk anymore. Depending on your workflow and what is most convenient to you will determine which camera is better suited for your needs. The C70 is about $2,000 more than the A7S III, so that could be something that you put into consideration. If you already have a lot of Canon glass, C70 may be better for you. If you want to use the extra money to buy an extra lens, the A7S III may be better for you. If you are used to the Canon and its color science, the C70 may be better for you with its dynamic range and everything. But the A7S III only has one less dynamic range stop, and honestly, you might not even be able to notice that depending on how you use the camera. If you already have controlled lighting in your setting, there's certain things that are just going to be determined by you and your workflow. I think they're both awesome cameras. I know my brother's gonna get the A7S III, and I'm probably gonna get the C70, and we're probably gonna use each other's cameras on different sets for different reasons, and we're probably both gonna be happy, and our clients gonna be happy, and our personal projects will look better because we're happy using our cameras. But just be careful when you're watching these videos that are bashing one camera over the other, when essentially they both have whatever function that they need to have. Now, Canon needs to get it together with scrimping on the features for their cameras when they they have the technology, and it's a big FU to us. And I understand that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not arguing that fact, but I don't think the Sony cameras in comparison are like, oh my gosh, this is the perfect camera. There's a lot of things that Sony doesn't do. There's a lot of things that are inconvenient. And there's just the fact that they are just now dropping flip screens on their cameras just shows like, some things are behind. But that's it for this video. I just wanted to get that out and go ahead and post it so we can at least have something out there that's letting you know that it's not saying that Canon is better than Sony. It's just saying that you should research the cameras and compare them for yourself. And not just believe whatever people are saying when they're fighting. I gotta go, I gotta take this call, but rant over. Thank you for watching. Until next time, ciao.